So we're live. So welcome everyone. Glad you could make it to the Tuesday yoga class. Hope everyone is safe and well. And I guess you probably wouldn't be here if you weren't. So I'm glad to see everyone taking care of themselves. So I'm going to move back to the mat. Get my handy dandy block. Yes. Okay. So for the next hour, nowhere to go and nothing to do. Just noticing, feeling, moving, breathing. Yeah, so come to a soft focus or close your eyes. And then soften from the top of the head all the way down. And we'll start this morning by just noticing any sounds that you hear in the room. Just notice. Now notice any sounds that you hear from outside the room. And it's a pretty quiet morning here. There's nothing, there's no cars, there's no airplanes, there's nothing happening. And I'm just noticing that. Notice if you feel warm or if you feel cold or if you feel comfortable. Now notice if you have any pain or discomfort. Just kind of taking stock of how you feel today. And bring your awareness to the breath. Notice the sensations in the body as you breathe. And let the breath deepen here. Taking the inhale from the bottom of the lungs all the way up to the top. Exhaling through the nose or the mouth, whichever you choose. And find that Ujjayi breath. Yeah, oh good. All right, bring the hands out to the side with the fingertips down on the floor. Lift up tall. And as you inhale, turn the palms toward the ceiling, and now let the hands just float up. Take the gaze toward the ceiling. Turn the hands out, exhale and lower. Turn the palms up, inhale. Arms just float to the ceiling. Exhaling. And one more time, inhaling up. And exhaling, the hands come down. Take a big deep breath here. Open the mouth and let it go. And one more deep breath. And let it go. Bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee and bring the right hand behind. Spiral to a twist to your right. Inhaling, come back to the front. And now the right hand across and gently spiral to the left. And coming back to the front. Bring that left hand across one more time, and as you twist to the right, extend your right arm, looking back toward that extended hand. Exhaling, come to the front. And now the right hand across and extending the left arm. Ah, yes. And exhaling, come back to the front. Good. Let's bring the shoulders up to the ears and then draw the shoulders back and down. All right, got some good popping and crackling going on here. Release the shoulders, inhale and bring the shoulders up toward the ears. Draw the shoulders back and down. Gently move the head and then release. And one more time, the shoulders come up to the ears. And the shoulders come back, shoulder blades toward the center and down. And now just breathe. And release. Good. And just move here. Now bring the hands out in front. Lift up tall, draw the shoulders back, but reach the fingers forward. Pressing the elbows into the center, pressing the palms of the hands together. Fingers spread wide. Yeah. Interlock the fingers, turn the palms outward. And now lift the hands up toward the ceiling. Let the gaze follow the lifted hands. And now take those hands over to the right, looking up underneath the left arm. And the hands back to the ceiling. Take the hands to the left, looking toward the ceiling under the right arm. And bring the hands back up. Take the gaze straight ahead and draw the arms back toward the ears. Keep the neck soft. And now exhale and round chin to chest, palms pressing out toward the top of the mat. And turn the palms in, release, work the fingers, roll the wrists. Wow, okay. Great, all right. So extend the right arm straight out, fingers spread, and as you inhale, the right hand comes up toward the ceiling. You're gazing up toward the lifted hand, drawing that right shoulder back. And the palm really faces the top of the mat. You're really reaching back here, up and back. And then release the right arm and just gently move that right arm and that right shoulder. And bring the left hand out, extending the fingers forward, lifting up tall. And now lift the hand toward the ceiling. And then draw the left shoulder back, turn the palm toward the top of the mat, really reach back and up. Keep the neck relaxed. It's a job, it's work. And then exhale and bring the left arm down. All right, great. So let's come over onto all fours. We'll just do some barrel rolls here. So take the whole body out to the right and then bend the elbows and come down toward the mat and then come over to the left and up, over to the right and down, exhaling down, inhaling up. And then go the other way to the left and down and to the right and up. And when you come back into your table, as you exhale, let the top of the head come down toward the mat, lifting the middle of the back. And as you inhale, the belly drops toward the mat, the gaze lifts coming straight ahead. And as you exhale, the top of the head drops toward the mat. Couple of rounds here, cat-cow. Just inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, gazing straight ahead. And as you exhale, lift the back, move the hips back toward the heels. Bring the elbows down, coming forward. And now lifting back up, gazing ahead, exhaling, lift the back, exhaling back. One more. Exhaling, bring those hips back toward the heels, open the knees, make space for the belly, bring the arms in and rest the head on the crossed arms. Inhaling, come up into table, extend the right leg with the toes down on the mat. Yeah, so spread the fingers wide, feel the palms of the hands and the fingertips on the mat, press back through that extended heel. And really dip that right hip down toward the mat. Ooh, yeah. Little crinkles going on in the lower spine for me. Lift that right foot hip height. It doesn't have to go high. You can just lift it comfortably high, and you're working toward trying to get it about hip height. Extend the left arm. Yeah, bird dog. Now bend the right knee, reach that left hand back and find the foot. Go easy here, and if you don't get there, that's okay. Find a pant leg or find nothing at all and just stay where you are in bird dog. Lifting that foot, if you have a hold of it, up toward the ceiling. Yeah, now as you exhale, extend, reaching through the fingers and the heel of the foot. Bring the left hand down and take the right knee to the right elbow and kick it back across to the left elbow and kick it back and up the center, dipping the head and kick it back. Exhale and bring that knee down and just move in table. And now extend the left leg with the toes on the mat. Let the heart soften. Release that left hip toward the mat. And lift the left foot, extending the right arm. Strong here through the leg, reaching through fingers. And bend the knee. Bring the right hand back to the foot, lifting the foot to the ceiling, opening the right shoulder. And extend. And bring the right hand down, take the left knee to the left elbow and kick it back and across to the right elbow and move it back and up the middle and move it back. And now bring the left knee down beside the right. Bring the hips back toward the heels. Again, into your child's pose, your resting pose. And walk the hands up toward the top of the mat, reaching with the fingers. Arms are straight and strong, elbows lifted, pressing fingertips and palms into the mat. Let the head release. And gently moving those hips a little closer back toward the heels. Breathe into the low back here. Let the head just settle all the way down as low as it will go. Good. Lift the head and now move the hands off the mat to the right side. Take the left hand onto the right, draw the left hip back. And the hands to center and off to the left, right hand on left. And bring the hands back to center, again reaching. Again, release the head. And inhale, come back up into table. And bring the knees back in under the hips. And just move gently. And notice if there's any difference in sensations in the body now that we've done some stretching and we're back in our table. Just moving here and noticing. With the gaze straight down between the hands, take the hips over to the right. Bring the weight onto the right knee. Ah, yes. Pressing the ribs out to the right. And now come to center, keeping the gaze in the center. Take the hips to the left. Pressing the ribs out to the left. And coming back to center. Yeah. One more cat-cow. Exhale, take the top of the head down toward the mat, lifting through the middle of the back. And big, long, slow inhale as you move the gaze ahead, letting the belly drop. Pulling the heart forward toward the top of the mat. And now exhale back to table. Yeah, good. Curl the toes, pop up into downward facing dog. Pedal those heels. Really strong now through the arms. Let the head and chest move down toward the mat. Working the heels, one and then the other. And come high up on the toes, still pressing the chest and heart back toward the knees, high up on the toes. And now take the heels, both heels toward the mat. And coming high up on the toes, both heels toward the mat. Ah, yes. Work those heels. And now bring the knees back down to the mat. And find a block if you choose and put it between your ankles, or just bring the hips back onto the heels. And breathe. So open the knees wide here, still resting back toward the heels. Bring the hands down to the mat with the fingers pointing toward you. Okay, so let's see how far we go with this. And this just gently, keeping the shoulder blades on the back, press the heels of the hands toward the mat. And now release and shake out your hands and fingers. And now bring the backs of the hands onto the mat, fingers pointed back toward you, and gently, press the backs of the hands into the mat. And then release. Again, work the fingers, roll the wrists. And bring the knees back in, and now bring the hands behind the feet. Let the head fall back. Yeah, lifting the heart up toward the ceiling, and if you choose, you can lift the hips toward the ceiling. Don't forget to breathe. One more deep breath. And exhaling the hips down, coming back up into your hero. Curl the toes and just gently bring the hips back toward the heels. And breathe. You don't have to stay here. If it's not comfortable, and come out of it. Bring the hands behind and interlock the fingers. Still squeezing the hands together, draw the shoulders back. And now exhale, come forward, bringing the top of the head to the mat and lifting the hands up toward the ceiling. Strong straight through the arms. And now bring the weight, the hips back toward the heels. Get long through the spine as you come up. Keeping the shoulders back, press the hands down toward the mat, gaze up toward the ceiling. And now release the hands, come over into table, tap out your four toes. Ah, yes. Bring the right foot to the top of the mat. Get set here. Two lanes, you've got the left foot and the knee on one track, and you've got the right foot on the other track. Yeah, feel strong and stable. And then let the hips move gently toward the mat, taking the right knee a little closer toward the top of the mat. You're up on fingertips here. And if you want more lift here, you can use books or a block or two blocks to lift. And I think probably the best way is to take that, if you're using a block to lift and you only have one block, bring the right hand under the right leg, and then you can lift up. So the gaze is straight ahead. You're breathing and settling here. Good. Bring the hands to the right knee. Draw the shoulders back and come to crescent lunge. And bring the hands down to prayer at the heart. Stay low in the lunge. Bring the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Prayer twist. Lifting the right elbow toward the ceiling. And bring the hands back to center, down to the mat. Release down and straighten the right leg. Draw the right hip back, pressing the right toes down into the mat. Feel the belly on the right thigh, the right side of the belly on the thigh. And if that right knee needs to be bent a little bit more to get that sensation, then just bend that knee. And now flex the right foot. Keep a little bend in that right knee and drawing the right hip back. And coming back forward into low lunge. And just for a breath or two, curl the toes, lift that back knee into a strong high lunge. Again, the hips are settling. Now the gaze is straight down toward the top of the mat. And good. Bend the back knee, release the back toes, and bring the right foot and the right knee back beside the left into table. And you can come to child's pose here and rest if you choose. Just moving now. Notice sensations in the right side and the right hip. Good, and bring the left foot to the top of the mat. Getting set up here. And the left edge of that front foot is parallel to the left edge of the mat. And your left arm is outside of that left thigh. A lot of people do lunge with both hands to the inside, but if you can, and that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you can, you frame that foot with the hands. And now gently lift the gaze straight ahead, let the hips settle, and breathe. Now bring the hands to the left knee, shoulders draw back. Hips still low, and come to crescent lunge. And bring the hands in prayer to the heart. Right elbow across. Left elbow lifts. Good, all right. And get that sensation of a straight line from the top of the head to the right knee. And bring the hands to center and down to the mat. Take a breath and release down. And now curl the back toes, lift the back knee, take the gaze straight down toward the top of the mat and strong through this high lunge. And good, bring the back knee down and then bring the left knee back beside the right and come back into child's pose. And lifting back up the table. Bringing the knees back in, curl the toes, downward facing dog. Good, notice what difference, if there's any difference in this down dog from the first down dog we did. And step the feet toward the hands. The feet are hip width apart, heels turned out. Inhale, come into half lift. And pick the mat up with your toes. Long through the spine, gazing straight down. Bend the knees, put the belly on the thighs, fingertips to the mat, let the head go. Forward fold. And now pressing down through the feet, round up. Draw those shoulders back, take the arms wide, and the gaze lifts as the hands lift. Exhaling into mountain pose. And you yoga flop. From the top of the mat, inhale the hands up, and now take the arms wide, dive into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, step back into plank. And the knees can come down here. One more breath in plank. And then exhale, lower. Lift into cobra. Some people call this baby cobra, and call this cobra, but I call this one cobra, and then modified cobra, but that doesn't matter. What's in a name, right? And so bring the knees down to curl the toes, press back up, and lift back into downward facing dog. And walk the hands back to the feet. So here we are at the back of the mat in forward fold. Again, lift those toes. Feel the mat under the toes. Lift the hips up toward the ceiling as the top of the head drops toward the mat. And now come to half lift. The weight comes to the center of the feet. Spine is long, shoulder blades on the back. And now as you exhale, bend the knees, fingertips touch the mat. Hands come out in front into chair. Now the weight shifts back toward the heels. Keep the body lifted here, bent with the knees deeply bent. Exhale the hands down, lifting the hips to the ceiling. Yeah. Let the head go. And gently move the head, gently move one heel and then the other into the mat. And come to half lift. And you say, oh no, he's going to do it again. Exhale into chair. Two more big, long, deep breaths. Exhale into the forward fold. Belly touches the thighs, hips lift, head drops. Gently shake the head or move the head. Now bend the knees and walk the hands back out into downward facing dog. And step the feet toward the hands. Half lift. Exhale and fold. And now come wide with the arms, press and come up. And exhale, mountain pose. Oh my goodness, yes. And yoga flop. I like to walk around a little bit, kind of let everything get loose and lanky here. Ragdoll. Good. Step back with the right foot. A pretty good step. We're moving into warrior one. So 2 lanes for the feet with the hips and the chest toward the top of the mat. And now you press this left knee to the left and you press the right outside edge of the right foot into the mat and you get that opening. And then settle low, lift up tall, strong through the feet. The body is straight up and down over the hips and the arms come up. Ah, yes. Warrior one. As you exhale, let the hands come down toward the mat. Let the head come down to the inside of the left knee, the top of the head toward the mat. Lift the hands to the ceiling. And now you feel the left shoulder on the left knee. Humble warrior. The hands come back down, out in front, hands lift. Stay low here, strong through the feet. Exhaling, the hands to prayer at the heart. Yeah, step the right foot up beside the left. And now step it out. Okay. Ah, yes. Now step back with the left foot. Pretty good step. Bend the right knee. And now find that stance. Find that opening as the right knee moves to the right and the strength in the back leg pressing through the outside edge of the left foot. Staying strong and straight. Move the gaze straight ahead and the arms lift. And the gaze can come to the ceiling or not. Exhaling, humble warrior. Coming down, head drops, hands lift. And now the fingertips come down toward the mat, lifting back to warrior one. And hands in prayer. And just step to the top of the mat. Good, all right. Yes, a little bit hot and sweaty here. So for mountain pose, pressing the feet down into the mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale into the forward fold. Come to half lift. And back to plank. Take a breath here. And now bend the elbows and lower down. One more core strength before we move to our backs to finish up. Bring the elbows under the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. Take the gaze straight ahead for one breath. And now take the gaze toward the top of the mat. Lift the hips. Curl the toes. Press back through the heels. Now, forearm plank. And breathe. Two more deep breaths. And bring the knees down, bring the hips down, take the elbows wide, take the right side of the head to the mat. And the left side of the head. And bring the hands under the shoulders and just press back up into table. Take a breath here in table. And now bring the feet around to the front. So bring the feet about halfway in and come into Navasana for just a couple of breaths. Both feet can be on the mat and one foot lifted. If the feet are lifted, the hands could be behind the knees. You can straighten one leg and then the other. And you can extend both legs and you can scissor the feet if you choose. Full Navasana if you choose. And now exhale, come down to canoe, feeling the low back on the mat. And now just release everything down to the mat, palms up, toes out. Ah, yes. Bring the right knee into the chest. Encircle those toes, one direction and then the other. And then take the right knee toward the right shoulder. So just draw it up and to the right. And if you choose, so you can get a strap, a tie, a belt, or something, or your right hand, and just take the bottom of the right foot up toward the ceiling. And then release the outside edge of that foot. Take the foot straight up to the ceiling, strong through the lifted leg, pressing up through the heel, and slowly lower the right leg down. Point the toes and lift. Flex and lower. Point and lift. And lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Take a breath. Bring the left knee into the chest. Hug it in. Circle the toes. And then gently move the knee toward the back of the mat and the left shoulder. And the outside edge of that foot or the strap. Bottom of the foot straight up to the ceiling. Happy baby or half happy baby. And extend that foot straight up. Almost done. And lower slowly. And point the toes and lift. Flex and lower. Point and lift. And lower. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Take that breath. Both knees into the chest. Gently rock. And the feet come down to the mat, arms wide. Let the knees fall to the right. Gaze left. Just release. Knees to the ceiling. Let the knees come left. Gaze right. And knees back to the ceiling. Legs are long. Reach the hands behind and arms behind you. And as you inhale deeply, stretch all through the body from the heels to the fingertips. Draw the outside edges of the feet toward you as you stretch it. Inhale. And exhale into yoga resting pose, Savasana. Just release. Face, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers. Chest and belly, hips, legs, feet, toes. And let the breath slow. Coming back gently and slowly, wiggle the toes, bend the knees. And when you're ready, you can come up to seated. So thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. And I hope you had a good practice. So I'm going to stop the recording.